So if you think the travel boycott to the United States is starting to die down, I have a few reports that will change your mind on that. And also a reminder on why we're not going to the United States. But at the end, I also have a report on somebody who has no respect for the borders. So we're going to talk about all of this in this video. Now, going to the first report I'm going to talk about, I want to prep it up for everybody. Because it talks about a community called Whitefish, and it's in Montana. And if I pull up the trusty website, bestneighborhood.com, you can see who these guys voted for. And for those who might be critiquing why I always use this website, and that it shouldn't matter what the voting demographics is of a city, it totally matters. Why? Because if you're going to potentially be going down to, say, Whitefish and spending your money, you might be spending your money at businesses and shops and restaurants that voted red. I mean, look how red it is. Chances are you are going to be giving some of your money to some orange guy voters. Personally, I don't want to do that. So when you're watching this next clip, just keep in mind how red this map is.
It has been a challenging season for the country's $58 billion ski industry. There's been a lack of snow across much of the West. Resorts nationwide are also dealing with a big drop in international visitors. That's being felt in Mountain Town near Glacier National Park in Montana, about 60 miles south of the U.S.-Canada border. CBS's Andres Gutierrez visited to find out why.
On a winter day in Whitefish, Montana, the view is familiar. Snow-covered peaks, busy sidewalks, but locals say something's off. In years past, downtown streets were lined with cars bearing Canadian license plates, visitors making the easy drive south. This season, far fewer.
Now, ski season's almost over, and if I recall correctly, I think this resort actually did a one-to-one deal as well. But the fact that this report exists tells me that any of their previous promotions or marketing or campaigns or whatever they tried to do is not working. I would really love to see how much the United States is spending on marketing and campaigns and see what their actual ROI is. I mean, we know Las Vegas is going to spend about $3.5 million or something like that to try to woo us back. But hey, if they want to waste their money, go for it. Because they keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over again.
Same goes some 6,800 feet above town at Whitefish Mountain Resort.
Tell me about what it was like out here on the slopes last year with Canadians.
It was a little busier than this year.
Yes, the slopes are still busy, but some longtime guests aren't here.
A lot of folks from Alberta, from Calgary, from BC, they have a long tradition of visiting Whitefish, and it's been really hard to see kind of a wedge driven between our communities.
Okay, but let me ask, what drove that wedge through our communities? What actually caused the Canadians to not go to the United States? Well, I have that answer for you, Mr. Ski Resort Man, and it's this, which contributed to this. Now, Mr. Ski Resort Guy, if you voted for the orange guy, then I have no sympathy or respect for you. But if you didn't vote for the orange guy, then yeah, I respect you. And who you should be pissed off at is your neighbors, maybe your relatives, maybe the shops, maybe your staff, I don't know. Basically, anybody in your community that put a check mark besides the orange guy's name. We're over a year into this now, and it seems like nobody in the US really wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to be blunt about it. It's always like it's sad and it's unfortunate, it's the exchange rate, or any other bullshit that we hear. I'm just speaking for myself here, but I've actually started hearing businesses say, you know what? It is the orange guy. It is the 51st day stuff. It's basically saying the truth. I might actually have a little bit more respect for them. But 14 months have gone by, and nothing has changed, and neither has their responses. Now, I'm not targeting the ski mountain guy. I mean, he only said it's unfortunate. I'm talking about all the other businesses. Maybe I'm just venting right now. But like I said, 14 months in, and their responses are still the same.
A survey of U.S. ski resorts found Canadian visitors down about 40% this season. And 1 year into a Canadian boycott of all U.S. destinations, the cost to the U.S. economy, $4.5 billion and counting. The punishing tariffs and presidential taunts about a 51st state prompting backlash.
We noticed it right away. Canadian travel down 25% in January, and it's been the same throughout the year.
Zach Anderson promotes tourism in the town of Whitefish.
All in all, it's worth at least 58% of the total economy.
In a city that loss might be absorbed, in a town of 9,000, it's personal.
It's a very complex time to be in business.
Jandy Cox owns an outfitting store in Kalispell, Montana, just south of Whitefish. He's seen a sharp drop-off of visitors.
Montana is still a good place to to visit. Montana is still a good place to do business, but I certainly spend a little bit of sleepless time thinking about where business is going to go.
But people here say their feelings about their northern visitors have not changed.
We've always thought of our Canadian neighbors like neighbors. So I guess our message is always like, we're still here, we're still your friends, and we're open for business.
Okay, does anybody else get triggered whenever they hear that now? Or is it just me? Let me know in the comments below.
We hope the day comes when they feel comfortable and welcome back here.
These Montanans counting on local ties to ease strained relations between two old friends. Andres Gutierrez, CBS News, Whitefish.
You know, friends do drift apart after time. I mean, especially if one's taking advantage of the other one, or if one's trying to take over the other country. But like I've said in my previous videos, this isn't going to be like COVID, and it's not going to be like 9/11, or any other previous natural disaster that was preventing the tourists from coming to your city. Now, I have another report from another state, and they are also struggling when it comes to Canadian tourists. Let's take a look.
International tourism was down in 2025, largely attributed to visa issues triggered by the Trump administration and other global affairs like tariffs, leading to fewer foreigners, according to Visit Colorado Springs and the World Travel and Tourism Council. Here in the Pikes Peak region, those decreases were felt in our tourism industry. There's hope it could rebound this year, but new concerns arise because of the war in Iran and gas prices.
We were down 22% from our visitors from Canada into the United States. That has a ripple effect on everybody. That coupled with just political tension and the 6-week government shutdown that we had in the fall, for a city like Colorado Springs that depends a lot on government travel, had an impact.
Now here we have another US city that's in trouble when it comes to tourism. But at the same time as well, look how red this map is. It's the same scenario that I just showed in the previous report. And I know my community well enough to know that none of us are going to have any sympathy for them. So let me ask the viewers right now. Does anybody watching this right now have any sympathy for Whitefish or Colorado Springs? Put your thoughts in the comments below.
According to the World Travel and Tourism Council, international visitors to the U.S. dropped by 6% last year. The impacts felt by small Colorado hoteliers like Tori Giffen.
We were expecting to have one of the best years ever last year, and we ended up being down about 15%.
She's the owner of the Buffalo Bicycle Lodge near Manitou Springs and Garden of the Gods. She says recent bookings are more than 90% from the U.S., but she used to get up to 20% international.
Now, 20% international doesn't sound like a lot, but every business is different. I mean, the profit margins, a slight 10 or 15% difference might be able to shut them down. I've done reports in the past where businesses were freaking out over like 5 to 10% drop from Canadians. So I guess now they'll have to depend on their domestic tourists.
And now, a new wrinkle in travel optimism comes from the war in Iran.
Most of our travelers we're hoping are coming by car, so higher gas prices could be a little scary.
If gas prices continue to go up the way they have, that'll have an impact on travel as well, with people probably wanting to stay a little closer to home.
According to price tracking site Gas Buddy, Colorado prices are up over 109 cents compared to a month ago, with Colorado Springs prices averaging $3.83 a gallon, higher than the national average. But gas experts say it's difficult to forecast if summer prices and tourism will see impacts with such a volatile world situation.
I could throw a dart and hope to hit anything at this particular point, and it very well may happen. There doesn't seem to be a great solution right now to getting the Strait of Hormuz open and safe for passage. And until that happens, we got a problem, and it's a very serious one.
Yeah, you definitely have a problem, and he's in the White House. But that problem is also not just contained within the United States. It's global now. So there should be no surprise from anybody in the United States when the rest of the world is wondering when the hell the United States is going to get its shit together. Now, after this comment, I'm really wondering how many hate emails I'm going to get, because some US citizens can't really handle the truth. Now, I do acknowledge that there are US citizens that are the resistance, like my friend Josh over here. He keeps things real. But there are US citizens, mostly on the Democrat side, that are saying that we are trying our best. We are going out to every rally and everything else. And that's fine. I acknowledge you, and I'm proud of you for that. But what about your next door neighbor? What about your cousin, your coworkers, your family, anybody else, or the ones that say, I don't follow politics? There's not enough of you guys in the resistance right now. So don't get mad at me for my comments. Go get mad at your fellow citizens that are sitting around doing nothing.
According to AAA, U.S. travelers tend to be resilient.
When it comes to taking vacations, they still go on vacations.
But how they spend their money changes.
They might have plans to travel at a set time of year. They will still travel over that period because they so cherish that ability to travel. They might spend less out to dinner. They might go on fewer excursions. They might go on cheaper excursions. They might pick a more budget-friendly hotel. So travel continues.
The tourism industry hopes events like America's 250th, Colorado's 150th, and the World Cup, even though it's not in Colorado, will be a boon for the year.
As I'm talking to hoteliers, depending on the type of hotel, advanced bookings are not great. But one of the things we are counting on is the FIFA World Cup will bring people to the United States. And yes, we are counting on the US 250, Colorado 150 celebration for the whole year, but particularly this summer.
Yeah, this guy's out to lunch and he has way too much opium. I mean, if you really think the World Cup is going to help bring people to Colorado Springs, I don't know what to say to that. Because number one, the World Cup isn't going to have as many people as you think it is. We already know for a fact that the European base, which is quite a big base when it comes to the World Cup, the flights are already down compared to last year when it comes to July 2026. If anybody internationally was going to the World Cup, they would have already bought their tickets, their flight, their hotel, and got their visas done. And when it comes to the 250th birthday, nobody internationally gives a shit about that. So you're going to have to rely on the domestic tourists. Should I show those two guys? No, I'm going to save them for another day. So what I just showed you now are two different cities that are struggling without our money. But the two common factors between these two cities are the two maps that you're seeing on the screen right now. Both maps, very strong support for the orange guy. Now this is just my opinion and I'm pretty sure some of you agree with me, but I have zero sympathy for any of these business owners in these regions that voted for the orange guy. And according to these maps, there's quite a lot of them. Now I know what the haters are going to say, oh GTL, you're being so mean to these people. Well, you know what? Vote differently next time. I think I'm really getting used to this no script thing. Now I want to move on to the next topic, but before I do, I want to give a shout out to CanConWin88, who sent in this photo from Port Rexton in Newfoundland and Labrador. I really appreciate you posting this in the Discord server, as well as everybody else on the Hey Cafe website that's posting their photos on the Guard the Leaf page. Now this next report I'm going to show you serves as a reminder on what we're missing, which is not much. But there are still Canadians that have gone to the US for spring break vacation. To those Canadians who are in the US right now, I say good luck to you on your return trip home.
This morning, that major storm causing even more travel chaos at airports already hit hard by TSA staffing issues right as the spring break rush gets underway. Delta and United asking the FAA to halt flights into Atlanta and Houston's airports overnight as they tried to play catch-up.
I just got a message that shows ground stop intercontinental for United.
That blast of winter weather leading to more than 14,000 cancellations and delays Monday alone. The lines at Chicago's O'Hare, where more than 500 flights were canceled, showing the impacts.
So they rebooked me onto a flight to Charlotte. Then I was going to pick up a rental car and drive myself across. That also got cancelled. So I've now been here for 16 hours.
Now, wouldn't a spring break vacation to like say Europe or Asia or even the Caribbean sound a little bit more relaxing than this? Because this doesn't sound like fun to me at all. But if somebody wants to choose to put themselves through this, then by all means, go for it.
This all coming as the TSA shortage, because of the partial government shutdown, hits critical levels, leading to nightmarish lines like this one out the door at Austin's airport. JFK in New York seeing the lines too, and Miami.
Been very frustrating here, sitting in these lines.
In Atlanta Monday, Hartsfield-Jackson Airport shutting down one of its security checkpoints again because of a staffing shortage.
You need to be at this airport at least 4 hours early. If you do not, you'll run the risk of missing your flight.
The nation's 60,000 TSA officers received their first $0 paycheck Friday.
Now, like I said in my last video when I did another TSA report, I don't blame the TSA officers at all. I mean, it's difficult to go to work when you're not getting paid. But it's even more difficult to see that the government is wasting money on like the war and the stupid ballroom while you're not getting paid. So yeah, I would be fully pissed off as well.
Workers calling out in record numbers.
TSA officers are committed to airports running safely, but the situation is becoming unsustainable. They have reason for not showing up, whether it's I can't put gas in my car, I have to take care of my children.
And we talked about those ground stops overnight in Atlanta and Houston. Well, earlier this morning, we actually saw yet another ground stop in Atlanta for Delta. So, George, these airlines, they are just trying to keep up.
So I guess the moral of the story is that just avoid the United States and you won't have to deal with any of this. I think the last shutdown lasted, 35, 40 days or something like that? But this time around, I think the orange guy is pretty preoccupied. He's trying to get other countries to help him in his war. So I really doubt this issue with TSA is anywhere on his radar right now. Okay, I want to close off this video on a happier note with somebody who has no regards to border rules.
This is Zero Avenue in South Surrey, and these picturesque homes sit smack on the border. This side is Canada, across the street, the United States. No fences or concrete blocks, just a little ditch and signs warning, don't even think about crossing.
Oh, it's very secure, yeah.
And people follow the rules except for one resident, him. Unfazed by jurisdictional authority, he is the Canadian border-jumping kitty cat.
Illegal. What? I think it's because he's got 4 legs, not 2.
Decidedly confident, ignoring the watchful gaze of border agents and that machine in the sky that's as useful as the dog as far as he's concerned. Several times a day, almost every day, he shows little interest in international law and carries on his very important work of mousing.
He's a cool little cat, keeps coming back and forth and says hello to everybody.
His name?
Louis.
Officially, Louis Vuitton, like the designer. And his styling cross-border feline feats are now so famous.
I love it.
He's become a local legend and a social media star.
It's a bit mind-blowing. He kind of flaunts his recklessness for the law.
Now, Mr. Vuitton is particularly good at catching all sorts, and he has been known to smuggle the goods across the border and leave them on the doorstep.
I bet he did not declare them.
We're not sure whether U.S. agents have caught up with him for questioning. We do know he had no interest in a TV interview.
Doesn't go through customs. He's got a passport.
If he did, it would show the cat who turned 6 on July 1st, Canada Day, will hop back over the line when he's good and ready.
I'm pretty sure if I lived on Zero Avenue, the co-host would be right there beside him. And if you're wondering where the co-host has been in this video, she's been close, like really close. When the monster is quiet, I don't want to rock the boat. So if you're hoping to hear from her, you'll have to wait for the next video. If you found any value or agree with anything I said in this video, or you want to hear more from a Canadian and international perspective, without the US media bias, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button below. That way you're notified of my videos. And if you want to see more of my videos, wait for the ones that are going to show up on your screen shortly. Thanks everyone, I'll see you in the next one.